The PSVR2 will officially launch on February 22nd, 2023. So the question now is, what games will you be able to play when it comes out? If you're a PlayStation fan, you'll be pleased to know that there are over 30 titles coming out on the same day the PSVR2 launches. Now, admittedly, a lot of these titles are ports from existing VR platforms. So that means there's not exactly an abundance of exclusive titles on launch day. There are only 3, namely Fantavision 22X, The Dark Pictures Switchback, and Horizon Call of the Mountain. That said, this isn't exactly a good reason to not buy the PSVR2. Obviously Meta has plenty of standalone titles, but if it's a high quality VR gaming experience you're looking for, you're going to need a PC with suitably high specs to make this possible. For a lot of people, this simply isn't practical or affordable. On this basis, it makes a lot of sense to use a VR headset in conjunction with a console that's specifically geared towards high-performance gaming. So if you really think about it, one of the main reasons you'd buy a PSVR2 is so that you can play ports of existing games. But even if the apparent lack of exclusive titles still bothers you, I got some more news for you. There are also 3 non-VR titles that are coming to the PSVR2, namely Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil Village, and Before Your Eyes. Okay, I know you can already play Resident Evil Village and Gran Turismo 7 on PS5, so maybe you're not too enthralled or impressed by that, but it's pretty cool to see 2021's Before Your Eyes coming to the PSVR2. The game has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, and I have a feeling it'll translate really well onto the PSVR2. Now, Before Your Eyes won't be available on launch day, but it will release just over 2 weeks later on the 10th of March. Now, to further sweeten the deal, there will be a couple of popular PSVR titles available on the PSVR2. These consist of Vacation Simulator, Tetris Effect, Thumper, Creed Rise to Glory, Championship Edition, and Res Infinite. Now, Res Infinite was released about 5.5 years ago, and while it may not be the longest game, it's widely regarded as a modern masterpiece. An updated version for the PSVR2 sounds absolutely awesome, so whether you've experienced Res Infinite before or not, this should be well worth playing. On top of the PSVR2 versions of PSVR games, there's several free upgrades from the PSVR that'll be available as well. These titles are Synth Riders, Zenith, The Lost City, Pistol Whip, and Puzzling Places. You're probably asking, where the heck is Beat Saber? This is probably one of the most popular VR games ever created, so you would expect that it would be available on the PSVR2. The good news is, Beat Saber will definitely be coming to the PSVR2. The bad news is, it won't be available on launch day, and we don't have an exact release date just yet. Moving on, I have no doubt that you're wondering about the ports from other VR platforms. To begin, there are 2 titles that will be available on the PSVR2 that come from the Quest. These are Cities VR and Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Now, these 2 titles aren't really just straight ports. Both games are enhanced editions for the PSVR2, so both the visuals and the gameplay should be significantly better in these versions. I somehow think Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge will be amazing on the PSVR2. And while you may not be an experienced Jedi Knight in the game, you'll still get to swing a lightsaber and shoot a bunch of droids with your blasters. While the original game isn't perfect, it's still been well received by fans overall, so hopefully the enhanced edition is even better than the original. Next on the list of ports is 2 PC VR titles, Kayak VR Mirage and Pavlov VR. The latter was released about 6 years ago and is widely regarded as the premier multiplayer VR shooter. From what I understand, Pavlov VR will be cross-platform, but this may only happen after the launch day. Pavlov VR may be great, but if there's no one to play against, it kinda defeats the purpose. The other titles you can expect on or just a little while after launch day include After the Fall, Altair Breaker, Cosmonius Ha, Demeo, Dyschronia Chronos Alternate, Job Simulator, Jurassic World Aftermath, Kazuna AR Touch the Beat, The Last Clockwinder, The Light Brigade, Mars 1 and 2, NFL Pro Era, No Man's Sky, Song in the Smoke, The Tale of Onogoro, Tentacular, Tetris Effect, Connected, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, Vacation Simulator, and What the Bat. Now, there are some other PSVR2 titles that are on their way, but there's no definite launch date just yet. Crossfire Sierra Squad is slated to release in summer 2023, and Hello Neighbor VR Search and Rescue is coming soon. Overall, there are plenty of titles to choose from for the PSVR2, and over the coming weeks, months and years, I'm sure this list will expand significantly. If you ask me, the PSVR2 is a great option, especially if you're not into the PC VR thing. So, that's it for this video. What are your thoughts on the current lineup of PSVR2 games? Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you content on a regular basis. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Later!